So we've been hearing a lot of, even on the last meeting on this subject, that we should be more concerned, it seems, with the threat of the United States to our security than a country like China. Do you agree with that assessment?
No. And I would say that we're at real risk, at very serious risk with the Section 301 investigation, calling us out for our very weak enforcement of the Uyghur forced labor legislation. The U.S. legislation is very strong. The Bloc has made tremendous efforts to strengthen Canadian legislation, and others around this table have as well.
Okay,
and we should be doing that.
I don't know what to say, guys, but there you have it. Today is, what is today? Today is Wednesday, April 1st. Happy April Fool's Day, guys. But this isn't a joke, because Carney and Michael Ma seem to systematically be trying to change the public's viewpoint on forced labor camps in China. Why are they trying to get China to have a better outlook in the Canadian public than it has? Why are they trying to override, through sentiment, laws that have been enacted against forced labor and child slave labor laws in 2001 that were put into place? I don't know. What I do know is that Michael Ma, who criticized that lady that you just saw on screen, is of Chinese descent. He recently crossed floors from the Conservative Party to the Liberal Party, and now it's almost poetic because he's in front of the cameras. His first questioning as a Liberal parliamentarian is against forced labor against the Uyghurs. I don't know, guys. I don't know what to think. I don't know, because like I said, Canada's parliament declared China's treatment of the Uyghurs, guys, a genocide in 2001, guys. And this week, a reporter asked Prime Minister Mark Carney if he agreed with that declaration, and this man would not say the word genocide. The only thing that changed between 2001 and today is that Canada needs Chinese trade to replace American trade. And guys, let's go through the article. Prime Minister Mark Carney would not say when asked whether China's treatment of the Uyghurs amounted to genocide, as the House of Commons declared several years ago, but acknowledged the Asian country was rightly called out for its conduct toward this minority in the past. Speaking to reporters on Tuesday at an unrelated news conference in Quebec, Mr. Carney was asked whether he agreed with the 2021 House of Commons motion on genocide. He declined to say, but noted there are fundamental issues in terms of China's treatment of Uyghurs in the past, and they have been rightly called out. Mr. Carney is still navigating the fallout from comments from New Liberal MP Michael Ma, who last week cast doubt on reports of forced labor in China. Mr. Ma, who defected from the opposition Conservatives in December, has apologized for his statements. The 2021 Commons Genocide Declaration was roundly rejected by the Chinese government, which has repeatedly dismissed reports by human rights groups and media organizations that Beijing is repressing the Uyghurs. The Prime Minister is currently trying to expand business ties with China as he seeks new markets for Canadian products and more foreign investment in an effort to reduce reliance on the increasingly unreliable United States. Asked whether he believes the genocide is continuing, Mr. Carney said there are serious issues that remain, which is why he said he has raised human rights issues with the Chinese government. The Chinese government does not care. They just don't care about human rights. They don't care. They absolutely just don't care. And they don't care about minorities. And this is exactly why I want to stop and kind of unpack this, guys, because Canada's parliament declared a genocide in 2021. Carney will not say the word in 2026. His language this week was that China was rightly called out for its conduct in the past, and that serious issue remains, guys. But both formulations are deliberate because that wording in the past suggests that it's over. Serious issues remain suggests it is unresolved, but not serious enough to name. So the UN described China's treatment of Uyghurs in 2022 as ongoing serious human rights violations that may amount to crimes against humanity. And guys, that is 1 year after Canada's parliament called it a genocide. The situation did not improve between 2021 and today. Canada's commercial relationship with China has changed. That's the only thing that's really changed, guys. And that is not a diplomatic caution. diplomatic caution means choosing your words carefully around a contested question. This is not a contested question in Canada. We've passed the law. Parliament already answered it. Carney is walking away from a position his own institution took because he needs the trade. There is a word for that, guys. It isn't diplomacy. Mr. Ma sparked a backlash last Thursday after he challenged the existence of forced labor in China during the meeting of the House of Commons Industry Committee, which is examining Mr. Carney's deal to allow 49,000 Chinese-made electric vehicles into Canada at a low tariff rate. Almost no tariff rate, because it went from 100% tariffs to 6%. Last week, Margaret McQuaig Johnston, a senior fellow at the Graduate School of Public and International Affairs at the University of Ottawa, had told the Commons Industry Committee Thursday that electric vehicles are being built with Chinese aluminum products made by slave laborers in Xinjiang. A 2024 Human Rights Watch report also said major automakers including Tesla, BYD, GM, Toyota, and Volkswagen are drawing aluminum from supply chains linked to Uyghur forced labor in Xinjiang. Mr. Ma then asked Ms. McQuaig Johnston, your claim about forced labor in Shenzhen, have you witnessed this yourself? Have you been there? I've been to China many times since 1979, she replied. He continued, have you witnessed forced labor in Shenzhen, yes or no? So did you get that from hearsay? Shenzhen is a major hub for Chinese EV manufacturing. Uyghurs and other Turkic minorities in Xinjiang, a region some call East Turkestan, have faced years of repression, forced internment, and coerced labor under Beijing, according to rights groups. A 2022 report from the United Nations High Commissioner of Human Rights said China has committed serious human rights violations there that may amount to crimes against humanity. We're gonna stop and unpack this a bit right now. I love how he goes on the attack, guys, because Canada has a Fighting Against Forced Labor and Child Labor in Supply Chains Act. It has a Magnitsky Act. It has a parliamentary genocide declaration. It is importing now 49,000 EVs built with aluminum from these same forced labor camps to meet its emissions targets. We're using this to meet ESG targets, guys. I just want you to wrap your heads around that. The environmental rationale is being used to justify importing a product made by people Canada's own parliament called genocide victims. That is not trade, guys. That is not a trade policy contradiction. That is Canada's human rights framework being overridden by its climate framework, while both report to the same prime minister who will not say the word genocide. 2024 Human Rights Watch report confirmed that major automakers including Tesla, BYD, GM, and Toyota, Volkswagen are drawing aluminum from supply chains linked to Uyghur forced labor. Canada is not importing EVs despite knowing this. It negotiated a specific low tariff deal for 49,000 EVs of them after knowing the same fact. On top of all of this, Carney attended a fundraiser co-hosted by the same MP, Michael Ma, that cast doubts on Chinese human rights abuses, guys. So Carney doesn't want to say genocide. He won't cancel the EV deal, and he attended a fundraiser co-hosted by Michael Ma after Michael Ma's committee performance became public, guys. Ma is worth examining on his own terms. He crossed the floor from the Conservatives just 2 months ago. His first significant committee appearance was to publicly challenge a genocide expert, asking whether she had personally witnessed forced labor and suggesting her testimony was hearsay. He is of Chinese descent, and his floor crossing delivered Carney a vote at a moment when the government needed it desperately. Whether Ma's performance in that committee was personal sympathy, political positioning, or something more deliberate is a question the pattern raises on its own. He might be actually working for the Chinese. We don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. But a brand new Liberal MP whose first act of consequence was to defend China's record in a committee examining a Chinese EV deal, while the Prime Minister who benefits from his vote attends his fundraiser and refuses to say genocide. That pattern, guys, is worth noting. Just draw your own conclusions. And why all of this matters to Canadians, guys, because Canada's parliament declared a genocide in 2021. 5 years later, the Prime Minister will not say the word because he needs trade from China. That is the entire story in 2 sentences. For ordinary Canadian citizens, guys, this is a question about what the country's stated values are actually worth when they become commercially inconvenient. Canada lectures the world on human rights. It has a Magnitsky Act. It has a Fighting Against Forced Labor and Child Labor in Supply Chains Act. It has a parliamentary genocide declaration, and it is then now importing 49,000 EVs built with forced labor from the country those laws and declarations were designed to hold accountable. But here's the part that should make every Canadian uncomfortable. The argument for doing business with China is that Canada needs to reduce its dependence on the US. Sure, we need to diversify. Of course we do. That just makes sense. You don't want to have your eggs in the same basket. It's common investment philosophy. The problem is that replacing one dependency with a country that is committing genocide and using slave labor to undercut global manufacturing, that's not sovereignty. It is trading one vulnerability for a worse one. At least the US is not operating forced labor camps. Canada is not navigating, guys, a difficult trade environment with its values intact. It is discovering what its values cost when the bill comes due. The answer so far is that they cost less than a trade deal, because every Canadian who has ever been told this country stands for something should be asking whether that is still true. That's all I have for you guys today. Hope you guys liked today's episode. Please like, share, and subscribe. Comment in the comment section below. My name is Miloš Krajčnik. Stay informed, stay curious, and God bless Canada.
This is Canada. Maple syrup and like Captain Say. Kick your ass all hockey season.